Hello there, everybody. This is Alex from Hardcoin Guides, bringing my guide for God of War Ascension on Titan difficulty. Today we're doing part 6 entitled Delos Island, and this is the demo section. This was the part of the game that was introduced way back in the day, and you know, of course, we all played it. We all know what it's like, and they've shown off a lot of the cooler cutscene aspects of this game and the whole, you know, weapon system and what have you. I don't remember exactly where the demo finished off at because it's been so long, but here we go. Get ready for a unfortunately tedious fight because I made it more tedious than I should have. I think that, I want to say that I think blades might break armor faster, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Real quick, piece of advice, because we're fighting armored satyrs, I would recommend just doing parries and then doing the stun grab and trying to ram them into a wall so you can get a potential insta-kill. But, like a fucking idiot, I didn't know about that at the time, I think. I don't think I learned that until like a little bit later when I was like, oh, I could have done that like the whole time. I could have made the satyr fight a lot easier. Luckily, this game actually has a chapter select, so technically speaking, if I really wanted to, I could have always just done a better fight and just, you know, I could have done it better, which that's the thing though, like I tend to try to rely on, or not rely, but I tend to try to do as best I can whenever it comes to games, so that way, one, you know, people can have an actual decent guide to it, and two, I don't have to sit here and watch me fail the entire time. So it makes it a lot more interesting when I'm not just sucking all day. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, the regular satyrs, even if you don't do what I, you know, was talking about, even if it's not, I don't really know if it's fully possible, but I guess we'll find out. See right there, like that didn't work because I was kind of ramming him into somebody else, so that was my thought process. So I didn't get to see it there, in the off chance that it actually did work. But, yeah. So anyway, update on my God Hand playthrough. I'm not recording it, by the way. I'm just playing it. My arm hurts from last night. My forearms, I think, just got like 10 times bigger. And then I started up today. And I wanted to do at least the rest of these videos, but I don't know if I'm going to or not, because admittedly, there's parts of God of War Ascension that I do kind of find quite boring, even just to watch back. So we might not, I mean, I might not do them today. But I said at least bare minimum do one video today, please. And then we can just finish the rest later. But I decided to play God Hand from the beginning of the day because, you know, I had just ate, you know, breakfast and what have you. I woke up early enough to go get breakfast and all that good stuff. And was going to record, but then decided, you know, this is not a good time to record and I should do something else. So yeah, I got to stage 4. I think it's like stage 4-4. It's the one where you're fighting the... what the hell are they called? Well, they're called the Three Stooges, I guess, technically in God Hand, but I forget what they're called in Tatsunoko, like what they're based on. It's that superhero group, I think, from Tatsunoko, which is, I think, what Team Rocket was based on, too. By the way, I ran all the way down on these docks because I was thinking that, oh, well, maybe this is where we can throw enemies off at. No. No, there's just invisible walls everywhere, because of course there is, because why wouldn't there be? It's God of War goddamn Ascension. I don't know why I expected anything differently. Even though, in all fairness, like, there's parts of the game where you can get away with doing that. But yeah, I do not recommend doing this. Like, even though it kind of is kind of a bit of a choke point, you know, which sometimes in God of War games, it does kind of help out to have a choke point, just in case. But for a game like this, to be completely fair with you, I don't know. I don't think it's going to really work that well. But yeah, so again, just like I said, progress update on God Hand. Like I said, I'm not going to record it until I at least beat the game. And if for some reason I end up actually beating the game before or even after Transformers Devastation is finished, I will start over from the beginning and we will probably be able to do God Hand for once. Which, I still got to beat Aizen. I've never beaten him before, so I have to get past that checkpoint first. And I need to go watch probably some other people on how to figure it out, because I'm just kind of doing everything on my own. You know, I know I've seen techniques that looked fun. I tried out certain things. I'm changing up my techniques. I'm changing up, you know, well, I always change up roulette stuff, but, whoa. Sorry, I kind of choked there for a second, but, there's a lot of stuff that I would argue that I'm doing a lot better, than I used to do when I first played the game, but I'm still kind of scared about other potential levels later on. But luckily I'm getting the hang of it. Hopefully you don't hear that little rattling noise, which, I mean, I know it's my PC, but I think it's my fan, so I need to probably dust that bitch out sometime soon, because I haven't dusted that thing in a bit. Yeah. Speaking of dusting things, I would love to dust out my old computer, which I do every once in a while, but that thing just, it just barely starts up anymore. Like, it just doesn't want to it just really doesn't want to work, which kind of sucks too, because there might be stuff on there that I might have wanted to change over from it to the new computer. So we'll see. Also, we lost the spear because this game's fucking weird like that. And then, yeah, for this puzzle, all you gotta do is just knock it down to, like, the halfway point, and there you go. Which I healed it fully because I thought that I can get access to the spear. Which you do actually get the spear. You just don't get it there, which I still find kind of weird, but, oh well. Yeah, I don't know what else to talk about, to be honest with you. I don't know. I know there's always, like, new games coming out. Like, there's Xenoblade Chronicles X, which, you know, I could always get a copy of that because the copy that I bought doesn't work. The Wii U copy does not work. So I could always just, you know, go buy the Switch copy. That way I have it. But then again, it's also Xenoblade Chronicles. And I'm going to be real with you, Chief. I am not a fan of Xenoblade. I don't mind, like, Xenosaga. I mean, I've only played the first one of that. But still, like, I don't mind it. I think that game is cool. But I've played and I've beaten Xenoblade 2, or 1, sorry. I've beaten the first Xenoblade game, the definitive edition one of it. And I just, the whole time, you know, I'm like, I don't, you know, I'm just beating this just to say I beat it more so than really enjoying it. That's not to say that, like, people who enjoyed it wrong. I just think that, like, I don't get why it is so enjoyable for. I mean, I don't know. I think I just never really learned how to play it properly or play it better. And then I've always bitched about the constant running in that game. Like, there's just so much fucking running all the time. And I wish there was, like, some fast travel type thing. Or, well, I think there is, but I wish there was at the very least, like, a car or something I can drive around, you know, to save myself the trouble of having to fucking run everywhere. But maybe that's just, you know, my old age showing, like, I want these games to have all this cool stuff. Which is kind of funny, because, like, I hate modern games to an extent, but yet there's a lot of quote-unquote modern stuff that makes things a little bit easier. Which I don't think I would even consider that, I don't think that's really much of a modern control system. That's just more so quality of life. You know what's funny? I got so used to, I know I keep talking about it, but I got so used to playing God Hand that I was like, wait, if you throw somebody off, I'm not going to get the orbs for it. And it's like, yeah, you do. And there you go. There's I think the first time I found out, like, oh shit, like that was a peak eureka moment right there. I was like, oh wow, okay. Now that I know that, I could probably use it to my advantage. Which I think right here I was trying to maybe probably go for a parry, but I just kept fucking it up. But I want to say that at this point in time I was like, okay, either I'm going to be able to throw them off or I'm going to get the wall kill. Like, it doesn't matter because they still die. You know, I don't really care either way what happens to them, one way or the other. As long as they just are fucking gone and dead, then I don't really give a shit. So, yeah, there you go. That's how you deal with armored satyrs. All you gotta do is just do a stun attack, whether it be parry or with your rage move, whichever one, parry preferably. And there you go. It's funny, I remember hearing somebody once say that the parry in God of War Ascension was like, fantastic. It was, like, one of the best. And it's so overlooked and underutilized. Those last 2 points I agree with. I do actually agree with those last 2 points. I do think that the parry system in God of War Ascension was kind of overlooked and underutilized by people. I think that, you know, because, like, since it's such a strange system, it's such a different thing to play with. And not only that, but, you know, you have to be a little bit more precise with it than you used to be. Like, there's a lot more visual flair to it that kind of throws you off a little bit. So it's like, I understand completely why nobody used it. I didn't use it even back then. Like, I think when I originally did Titan mode, I don't think I used it barely at all. However, it being the most potent or the most strongest thing in the entire game or whatever, like, I don't know, I personally don't think so. Like, I mean, I think that most everything in this game works pretty damn well. The parry system only just really realistically, for me, just saves me the trouble of having to deal with satyrs for the most part. And, it gets you a stun, which, you know, depending on who you're fighting, can be useful. But then again, you could also argue, like, well, why not just get the rage meter going and then just get a stun that way? Which, to be fair, like, at that point, that requires you to actually be aggressive and build it up. Whereas the parry says it's more of a defensive option, but I don't know. Look, I'm talking out my ass, to be fair, but I'm just... I still prefer... Regardless, I still prefer the old parry system. I like the fact that I can just react and do a react block. Which, of course, a parry is a reaction, regardless. Like, I know. But I would much rather just not have the other button input. Or, at the very least, not have that weird visual flare thing that comes with it. That weird, like, shining shield thing. Because it just seems kind of... It seems kind of, like, off. Like, I don't know when exactly the actual timing is. Like, is it the entire animation is the whole parry? Or is it just, like... the last part of it is the beginning part of it. Like, I just don't know. Like, of course that takes trial and error. You kind of have to figure that stuff out. But, which, by the way, I guess whenever they're in rage mode, you can't amulet them, apparently. But yeah, now I finally have amulet level 2, which is really good because it has such a nicer cooldown. Like, obviously it's not the arrows from, like, you know, God of War 3 where its cooldown is just insane. Well, that was just the item system in general. It's not that from God of War 3. It's its own thing, but at the same time, like, the amulet is just fucking awesome in this game. Which I'm kind of glad that I'm really glad, like, you know, going back to talk about the parry, like, it's still a good parry. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that I would much rather use the regular blocking system. Which at this point, I'm starting to wonder if my train of thought was just going into complete mush because I don't know what the hell I said the entire time. I think I'm starting to get commentator curse, where it's like I just talk and talk and talk and have no fucking clue what I'm talking about, but I'm able to yap about it. Like, I just go in this weird trance. This weird trance-like state where I'm just not even... I'm not even in reality anymore, which is actually kind of funny because I do tend to get that feeling sometimes. That weird disassociation with real life. Like, I mean, in recent days, it's been pretty okay, but, even, like, right now, when I was recording commentary, I think even yesterday, I just wasn't... I wasn't all there. So, like, me talking right now, it feels like I'm just listening to somebody else talk. It's kind of throwing me off, not gonna lie. Because, maybe it's because, like, I have nothing really to talk about. Because I at first, when I was doing God of War Ascension, I'm like, I have plenty to talk about. Because, like, this part sucks, this part sucks. But then when you get to the later parts, it's like, okay, there's not really much to really describe because, well, nothing's really happening besides, okay, we fight enemy number 2 again. We fight this group of enemy this time. You know, it's like you just do the same thing, but now you have to think about how to fight with these guys too. So, yeah. Maybe after Transformers, if I feel like it, a decently long-ish break would be okay, like a month or something like that. Like 3 weeks to a month break or something, just to kind of get my brain back on track with how to do commentaries again. Because sometimes when I don't commentate for a while, I come back and I'm like, oh, this feels good. You know, I like doing this again. Or it could just be God of War Ascension, like, who knows. Anyway, this is the new enemy archetype. This is the Juggernaut of the Elementor, or whatever it's called. And essentially, it's just basically just a clubbed elephant, so... Yeah, not much has really changed, to be honest. I mean, in all fairness, like, yeah, doing the club is probably a bit easier because, you know, the attacks are a lot more telegraphed. And I don't think that he has a ground slam. I don't think so. I don't remember dead offhand if that's true or not. Because, again, it's been a bit since I played this. Also, it's kind of funny. Like, I don't know if that's just his rough skin or if I'm seeing, like, battle scars. Like, I can't tell. But if it's like, goddamn, imagine this guy, you know, has battle scars and shit. Like, he's been through multiple wars. He's been through multiple people. He's killed so many humans or whatever. And then he's got to deal with Kratos. And Kratos just fucking annihilates him. It's like, god damn. Like, he went from, like, number 1 to, like, 100, like, in a second. Like, god damn. Like, what the hell happened? It's kind of funny when I think about it that way. Like, Kratos just fucking decimates these warriors like it's just another Tuesday for him. Oh yeah, after a while he'll eventually just say, fuck it, whatever, I'm done with the club shit. I'm going hand to hand. And at that point, it's like, alright, well, now we're back to the basic. the basic style of fighting with one of these bastards. So, to be fair, all you gotta do realistically is just do the same thing you've been doing. By the way, time that a little bit better, because something like that can happen. I think it was blocking there too, actually. But if you don't time it right, your dodge, you will get hit by that slam. It is a hard thing to kind of telegraph between, but it's not that bad. It's got a decent wind up to it, to be fair. Thing is, oh yeah, by the way, if you're not gonna do this stun attack, then he will probably do a retaliation move where he does his tusk and try to hit you with it. But yeah, like learn the timing of the rolls, which is usually kind of like close to the end of the stomp, because rolling when he's lifting his foot up is not gonna cause it. It's not gonna help you get away from getting hit. So, you know, don't bother trying to roll too early. That's kind of the key aspect there. I mean, I know that's common sense, and that just goes with anything. Like, oh, don't get hit, stupid. You know, I get that, but I get that's what I'm saying. I know. Or at least that's what it sounds like I'm saying. But I'm being genuine when I say there is a very particular timing window that you kind of have to watch out for. And it's not super strict, thank God. It's actually quite lenient whenever you do happen to get it, though, which is really nice. And I'm kind of glad that, you know, God of War at least has somewhat decent iframes and not just terrible, you know, piss in your cereal type stuff, which is always great. That's another thing that video... Okay, I wanted to make a tweet about this, but... because I was just thinking about it randomly one day. I'm like, double jump in games is like the best thing that's ever happened to video games. Well, one of the best. There's plenty of other best stuff, but like that's definitely, like, in terms of mechanics, the double jump is such a cool mechanic. Because, like, okay, for some people it's like, oh, well, a double jump is just basically implying that the devs have... They have no faith in you. You know, they have no faith in their game design, so they want you to double jump so they can make their platforms higher, which... Okay, that makes no sense what I'm saying, but... either way, like... Double jump a lot of time is like, okay, well now I'm forced to use double jump for platforming sections. Now I'm forced to use it because that's what it's going to be used for. Because if there wasn't those platforms, there wouldn't be a double jump, or vice versa, right? But double jump, depending on what game you're playing, allows you to it allows you to, you know, fix your jump, basically. It allows you to change your trajectory whenever you're jumping, which is nice. So, for example, look at Super Ghouls and Ghosts. That has a double jump. You can jump in air and then jump back. So, like, if you happen to be like, I changed my mind on my jump, you can do that. And I think that's a huge power to the player type move for double jumping in games. Now, granted, there's games like Mario 64, which has an amazing triple jump. But Mario 64, you know, it's... I may not like playing it all the time because I played it a lot. But in all honesty, it's still one of the better games out there when it comes to 3D and how you do it. Because they really did utilize a lot of the stuff that you can do. They give you a lot of options for things to do. And just a lot of fun little tricks. And even outside of the things that were necessary, or not necessary, but that were intended. So, for example, like the BLJ, like, you know, it's a cool concept in of itself. It just, you know, being able to break Mario 64 and just have fun with it. Which, of course, Nintendo fucking hates, by the way. I don't know why they're so obsessed with that. Like, if I made a video game, and I made a game that was at least relatively polished, where you could beat it from beginning to end with little to no problems, if somebody found a bug or broke the game, and it did not hurt much of anything, why would I care? You know what I mean? It's like, well, have fun. Like, you broke my game, that's cool. You know, I like seeing that, but Nintendo is so fucking stupid with that. I don't get it. I don't know. I mean, I understand that they're set in their ways, but god damn, you know, sometimes it just kind of hurts to see that. But there you go, there's that fight. It's basically nothing. There's nothing to really talk about. You have the amulet, you should be fine. I mean, at that point, yeah. You could argue, like, well, isn't that like 90% of the fights in this game? Yes. Well, maybe like 80% of the fights in this game, but yes. The amulet does kind of just ruin a lot of the fights. Ruin it as in, like, not make them bad, but just ruin them in terms of... It definitely goes to show how much pain it really is. Real quick, I don't think I cut this, so you'll be seeing a straight up... Sorry, I keep thinking I'm hearing things. Like that little buzz, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, there's a fucking bug in here. Like every time, like, god damn. I'm going insane. You guys wouldn't be able to hear it, but I hear it. Like I hear that little, whether it be my TV, like making a little static noise, or whether it be my window or something, you know, like I just hear it. I hear something. Well, not right now, but I did. Anyway, yeah, I don't think I cut this section, so you'd be watching me kind of make a little bit of mistakes. I might have, I don't know. To be fair, I could have cut the entire part out and just said, fuck it, whatever, you guys can figure out the puzzle on your own. But that's not me. So real quick, the puzzle, it's not too bad. All you gotta do realistically is just break the chain first, and then after you break chain, then you gotta heal this chain, so that way the chain is actually connected. And don't worry, you don't have to. I don't think you have to break the chain ever again. I don't think, because you can't go further with the cogs if you don't have the chain. There. So yeah, and then of course that big block that you need is used to not only get on the top right there, but also you can get to the top left with this. Again, it's not really a hard puzzle, but I remember, like, back in the day, this one took me a bit to kind of figure out. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Do you guys remember that? Like, when you first played God of War, did that ever just give you trouble, like, with certain puzzles? You're like, oh, man, this is hard as fuck. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, God of War 2 or God of War 1, you know, it's like, I don't get it. But then you get it, and then it kind of sticks with you forever. Although with God of War Ascension, like, I don't play it enough, so I just kind of tend to forget all these puzzles just, you know, dead offhand. And there we go. We finally got level 4 for the Blades of Chaos. And I do think that, yeah, I'm pretty sure that the design of the blades do change when you upgrade them, which was always kind of a cool thing. Yeah, if you couldn't tell from the puzzle alone, like, yes, you need to have these, which I think I figure it out, like, pretty soon. Okay, maybe not. But yeah, there's I don't know what I'm doing, I'm being stupid. Which I think I figure out, like, wait a minute. Like, don't worry, I figure it out, like, after this. I'm like, wait a minute, I think I fucked up. But I was trying to test something out. I wasn't sure if, like, moving this thing back would move the main cog. And then I found out, like, okay, that doesn't move the main cog. I'm just being stupid. So, at that point, then it's like, I realized right then and there, I'm like, oh, okay. So I need to... Yeah, I know for a fact I need to move the left cog thing there. No doubt about it, so... And then I kind of looked, I peered over, and I'm like, oh, I see, because there's, you know, we gotta build a platform to the top there, and we need, like, a specific thing to jump on top of to get it to work, which I don't think was this one. The hell? Like, how is this 4 minutes, and I'm still, like, a minute left? How long does it take me to figure this shit out? Oh, that's right, I think you have to move, all the way to the right. Yeah, I think you have to take the lever and move it all the way back. That's what it was. That's where this part gets kind of confusing, because you kind of think to yourself, oh, I need to move it forward so that way I can just have the thing move it all. But it's like, not necessarily. Like, you can just easily just move it all the way back, and it still should, in theory, be fine. And this was, like, again, the eureka moment for the puzzle. I was like, oh, okay, I got it. Which, to be fair, you know, we spent, like, maybe a minute of just wasting time. So, there's that. Also, how do they expect you to get over here this fast without rolling? Without the roll cancel? I've never understood that about these God of War games. Like, they just... Do they know about it? And they expect people to know about it? Like, I don't think so. And like I said, after this, I want to clean my fucking... I'll clean my damn computer. Also, that was pointless. You don't need to do... Well, actually, no. I guess you need to do that. Oh, never mind. Okay. And that's the thing, though, too. I always get worried, like, is that thing going to lock in place? Because sometimes, you know, some of these God of War games, they don't do that. But this one just does. It's just straight up locked in place. You're fine. Yeah, fairly annoying puzzle, but I think that's the last of the main puzzles we have to really worry about. That might get annoying. Also, get ready for the hives. If you see them around, break them, get orbs. I don't need to tell you that. You can kind of figure that out. I mean, to be honest. To be fair, knowing where they're at might be kind of a struggle, but, you know, for the most part, they're pretty easy to take down. But anyway, that's it for this. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time for some more God of War Ascension. And as always, take care, everybody.